Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. And if you are new, we are collecting the entire Star Wars Kenner line made from 1977 to 1985. Oh, and by the way, we started from scratch. So on the last episode, we got the first two figures on our list, which were the original R2 and Chewie. So with that theme, we're just gonna go down the list and pick number 3 and number 4. And this episode, we're talking about heroes. So there is something about a regular, everyday hero that compels us to go on a journey with them. There was Frodo and Bilbo, two unassuming characters that went on huge adventures that were bigger than they were. And then there was Peter Parker, who not only had to fight the bad guys, but homework, pimples, and a curfew. And then there was Luke Skywalker, a simple farm boy who had no idea what destiny stood before him. And it's these everyday characters that we can identify with because we see ourselves in them. Now, in 1977, no one knew that the Star Wars movies were gonna be the huge success that it was. And when George Lucas retained the marketing rights to make action figures, toy companies did not want to take that financial risk because at the time, that market was only reserved for movies that were also TV shows like Planet of the Apes. There wasn't a proven market strategy like today, where it's the norm. That's why we get figures for everything that hits a movie screen these days. So when Kenner took on the license to make the figures, they were caught by surprise when the movie was a huge hit. They had to scramble to get those figures into production, so they had to pre-sell orders of the figures to make the Christmas rush that year. The solution? Sell cardboard certificates that parents or fans could buy that promised, when the figures were ready, that they would ship directly to them. To collectors, this is called the First 12, and Luke Skywalker was in this group. So the 1977 Luke Skywalker is one that has the most variants of the entire Kenner line, with his hair either in blonde, brown, or what some call lemon colored. And there was also the double telescoping saber, and this was the first release that included a lightsaber that extends from his arm, but there was a small plastic extension that further extended out. Kenner discontinued this because production costs were way too expensive to make this, and that's good because these brittle double extensions would easily break. So finding a double telescoping Luke, whether it's carded or a mint loose version, is very expensive. And although it's not in my current collection, it's kind of a variant that I'm thinking about getting. But for now, we're looking for the blonde-haired, single telescoping Luke. And we found a good example of him on eBay after we made a deal with the seller for $65. All right, so I don't really like when I get these figures in these bendable envelopes like this. And sadly, 9 times out of 10, when you're dealing with somebody on eBay, that's what you're gonna get. So after I got Luke out of his cocoon, we ended up getting a very nice and shiny version of Luke. His arms have some slight discoloration and the saber tipped is rubbed down, but for a display piece, this looks pretty good. And I'm glad to have this Luke in my possession. And now to the next hero. And there have been many strong female characters in film history. There's Ripley, there's Sarah, there's Ma from Golden Girls. All right, that's not a movie. But the best one of all, the princess of my heart and all of our hearts, and the best Disney princess in my book is Princess Leia. A strong senator from the planet of Alderaan. She wasn't a damsel in distress, but a modern hero trying to save the galaxy from oppression in the face of enormous odds. So she was also part of the First 12, and maybe a lot of guys or boys didn't want to have a female character inside their collection to play with. They might have thought it was a doll or something. But without Leia, your collection is not complete. And even if you're playing with your figures, you can't work around not having Leia inside those stories to complete your adventures. Come on. And after being a 40-year-old figure, she's one of the hardest to keep in pristine condition with her white vinyl cape, her small, easy-to-lose blaster, and her white paint and hair that's easily scuffed. The prices for a loose figure for her are up close to the $200 range just because it's so hard to find one in mint condition. So we went on a hunt for her, maybe not to get one that's in, near mint shape, but one that we can find that's a good example that we can proudly put inside that display. So I have a plan, and you guys just bear with me. We went to eBay because we found some pretty good prices for Leia without her expensive blaster. And here she is. Now, she looks clean, Slight yellowing on her arms and legs, but very, very slight. And she has some paint rub on her hair. Her cape is intact and not torn, which is important because we also see that there's some spotting on it. But I do have a trick, and we're gonna try and clean that up like I do with so many of my figures that I get online. So we decided to get this one. Now, since we found this loose figure, I started going on the hunt for a loose weapons lot, and I went on a Facebook group and I put a in search of, and I was looking for the correct Leia blaster that went with the 1977 figure. So somebody DM'd me and said that they can sell one, and the price for that they wanted was 30 bucks. So we made a deal with that person. Now the group that I went to is called the Imperial Commissary, and they're a group that only allows members and sellers to deal in non-reproduction items. I looked at the pictures of the blaster, I compared them on the Imperial Gunnery, and everything did check out. So I was really confident in buying. So here we go again. Different sellers will box and ship items differently. So I'm used to seeing boxes with my figures, but again, buying from eBay, you're gonna see this. Figures and accessories sent in flimsy envelopes like this. So if you're buying from eBay, this might be what you see normally, but there are some really great toy shops that have sites on eBay that know how to send figures. So just so you're prepared and you know, you may be seeing a lot of these flimsy envelopes when you're buying stuff from eBay. But the figure was as advertised. For the figure, I use a soft toothbrush, a little soap and warm water, and then lightly wipe with a non-abrasive soft towel. And then I put her in a yoga pose to dry for a couple of hours and also away from sunlight. And then for the cape, I use a little bit of warm soap and water, and I also use a product called Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and I use a toothbrush to lightly clean off the vinyl. Then after that, I apply the magic eraser. I use a Q-tip to dry any residue off, and then I wipe it off of any excess moisture, and I lay that flat to dry. And then I do another check for moisture before I put it back on the figure. And after that, the vinyl is really, really pliable. So here she is, ready to lead the Alliance into battle. And here are all the heroes together, finally at last. And we have the whole group together. There's Luke, Leia, Han, R2, Chewie, 3PO. All right, so let's go ahead and cross off our heroes from the list. And we got Luke for a total price of $74.34 from eBay. And we can also cross Leia off the list for a grand total, including the figure from eBay and the weapon that we bought from Facebook, for a grand total of $69.99. And also, let's place our two heroes in our case from Collector Displays, and the link for the case is down in the description. And this is from my buddy Aaron, so shout out to Aaron. And if you like my shirt, this is a custom t-shirt for my buddy over at Left Coast Graphics. A link for his website is down in the description as well. And if you want to reach out to me on social media, the links are down there too. So I'm really glad that today we were able to buy those two main heroes. And whether you are a hero at work, at home, to your kids, to your family, to your community, to your pets, we are all everyday heroes in some way. And as always, thank you for being a part of the journey. I will see you guys next time. If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.